Defeminized goddess, emasculated Christ. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is the gospel truth, and I'm your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. So I'm the Christian whistleblower with your gospel truth. Glad to have you with us here today. Kind of a weird ad running on the channel right now, but thank goodness for our sponsors. And we do appreciate them all very, very much, and hope that you, check them out and stuff. Well, I want to talk to you this morning about, good morning, you crazy people that are awake at this time of day. It's like 4 in the morning. I want to follow up. Karen, Robert, Lamont, Tiffany, Sarah, nice to see you all here. I want to follow up a little bit on the show we did earlier today about Lilith, Sophia, and Eve. And what I want to look at today is something that one of you put in my head about the demasculated Christ and the defeminized goddess, or the defeminized Sophia. And we talked about that earlier today with Lilith and the Eve imagery, and the fact that even the Gnostics, the Syrian Gnostics with the Christian background, even got into this idea of putting Christian morals and Christian mores and Christian philosophy onto the Gnostic truth, which was really meant to be revelatory and I think freeing from the Christian paradigm. So we have this situation. Let's talk about the goddess, because of course, ladies first. So let's talk about the goddess. And when you think about the goddess today, the personification, the modern personification of the goddess within the Roman Catholic and Roman Protestant paradigm is really, limited to a discussion or an expression of Mary. And if you think about Mary, you think about, the Blessed Mother, and you think about the Queen of Heaven, and you think about, the Madonna and all of that stuff, and you think, that seems like a pretty powerful situation for a woman. That seems to be a powerful, an empowering situation for the sacred feminine. But is it really, when you think about it, when you really break it down, look at it, consider it, is it really an empowerment of the sacred feminine? Or is it a defeminization, in fact, of the sacred feminine? And we just looked at Lilith. And if you think about it, Lilith, hey, Nona Magic, if you look at Lilith, I think Lilith was probably the true personification of what you would want the reality of the well-balanced human woman to be. And I think Lilith would be more the personification of what you would want the true goddess to be, and more an accurate presentation of the true goddess. And I'm not talking about the Lilith. Karen Williams left the Catholic Church when she was 17. She's in her 60s now. Good for you. And I just lost my train of thought. Oh, you think about Lilith, and I'm not talking about the demonized Lilith, baby stealer, baby killer, vampire. And we saw clearly within the lore that it was the Lord who wanted to kill 100 babies a day until she came back. And her only sin, quote unquote, and it wasn't a sin, was wanting to express and to live in her equality with the man. We saw they were both created at the same time, and all she was asking for was to be equal. All she was asking for was balance. And the thing I like about Lilith is that when that was not given to her, she said, deuces, I'm out of here. She didn't take their crap. She didn't bow the knee. She didn't bend over. She didn't lie down. She didn't smile and nod. She said, look, if that's the way you guys are going to be, I'm out of here. Gone. Overdone. And even when they sent angels to chase after her, she's like, I'm out of here. It's over. I'm not going to stay. And I think that's really the true essence of the goddess. I think that's the true essence of real sacred femininity. Not that you're a biatch, but that you won't be trodden upon. You won't be messed with. You won't be lied to. You won't be cheated on. You won't be taken advantage of. And that's not even really feminine. That's just human. Why is it seemingly out of order? And I'm trying to learn, because I got this new mic and it's a good mic and I don't have to yell and scream, but all those years in a pulpit, it just gets to you and it's hard to get it out of your system, but I'm going to do it. And I lost my train of thought again. But I don't know how all of a sudden, I do know how, but think about it. After 2,000 years, what is your real concept of what a good woman of God is supposed to be? They talk about the Proverbs 31 woman. Let's look at that. Let's look at the Proverbs 31 woman. That's kind of the Christian ideal. The Proverbs 31 woman. Let's look at the Proverbs 31 woman, because this is the most beloved expression of femininity within all of Roman Catholicism and all of Roman Protestantism. So let's look at the Proverbs 31 woman, the virtues of a noble woman. The virtues of a noble woman. Let's take a look at that if you'd like. On the Christian Whistleblower Gospel Truth broadcast, we are going to look at the virtues of a noble woman on the friendly neighborhood Christian Whistleblower with the Gospel Truth, as Rain Man so adroitly states. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the noble woman. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. For the heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. The husband doth safely trust that bitch is in the kitchen making a sandwich, so he doesn't have to worry about making his own sandwich. Because the noble woman is most worried about the heart of her husband, of course. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life, because we know that the real heart of a noble woman is to serve her husband. She doesn't mind being in the kitchen making sandwiches. She loves being in the kitchen making sandwiches. And she just wishes that she could have two kitchens so she could make even more sandwiches. She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. She just wants to sew, and she just wants to fold clothes. And if you want to be a housewife, I'm not trying to make fun of you at all. I'm just saying that this is what they say all women have to do, and they have to serve a man. She's like the merchant's ships. She brings food from afar. See, it is all about sandwiches. She gets up while it's still night to give meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands, she plants a vineyard. She girds her loins with strength and strengthens her arms. She perceives that merchandise is good, and her candle goes out not by night. She lays her hands to the spindle. She stretches out her hands to the poor and to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for her household are clothed with scarlet. She makes herself coverings of tapestry, silk, purple. Her husband is known in the gates. He sits among the elders of the land. Her highest honor is to be known as the little wifey of a good man. Strength and honor, she rejoices. She opens her mouth with wisdom, but not in church, because we know it's a sin and a shame for a woman to open her mouth in church. She opens her mouth with wisdom, but not when there's other men around, because we know that a woman should not exercise authority over a man. So most of the time she just smiles and nods and looks pretty, but when it is appropriate, she will open her mouth and it will have wisdom, and her tongue will have kindness. And she looks to the ways of her house. She doesn't have any idleness. Her children call her blessed. Her husband also, he praises her. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that it's great that your children would bless you. Her daughters do virtuously. Favor is deceitful. You know, you don't want to have any reputation of your own. That's deceitful. Beauty is vain. Don't worry about what you look like. But a woman that fears the Lord, she will be praised. Oh, so there's the key. There's the key. She's got to fear the Lord. Oh, I see. And that's why you do all this stuff, and you put up with all this stuff, and you let them do all this stuff, and you accept this position that you're forced into because you fear the Lord, and you're afraid he's going to blast you with a thunderbolt. Give her the fruits of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. How do you think Lilith would have liked that? Would Lilith... Can you imagine Lilith hearing that stuff? Now, there are women that probably find great empowerment in being household engineers, and I'm so happy for you, and I support you 100%, but I still don't think you should be subservient to any man or any woman. I think you should be equal with them. And the same people that hold up Proverbs 31 are the same people that hold up the writings of Paul that says a woman should shut up in church. A woman should not have authority over a man. A woman should not speak in church. A woman should be a keeper at home. A woman should, in fact, is so sexually wanton that she has to have a man marking her, or she'll keep having sex with any and every spirit. That a woman is the one that failed first. That a woman is the one that sinned first. The same people that wrote Proverbs 31 wrote those scriptures, and I approved those scriptures. This message was approved by the same rat bastard that inspired Paul. The Proverbs 31 woman is inspired by the same rat bastard that inspired the Apostle Paul. So, ladies, the truth is that the goddess has been emasculated. Because the true expression and the original expression of the goddess was Lilith, a woman that understood, a woman that embraced, and yea, even a woman that insisted upon equality, and that insisted upon an egalitarian arrangement, both in personal relations and societally. That's the goddess. That's the Lilith is the one that Sophia incarnated, not Eve. Lilith is the Sophia that has risen. Lilith is the Sophia that was the moon and came up and took her rightful place as co-regent with the sun. And that's why I'm so against, that's one of the reasons why I'm so against this idea that the lunar eclipse was not the moon. And I want to tell you the real genesis of this whole idea. And I know there's some smart people. I know that there's some good people and some YouTubers that we all enjoy that are saying, oh, it wasn't really the moon that came up on the solar eclipse. It was all of these other things. And the real genesis of that thought is this. And I want to share this with you. I want you to get what they're saying, and I want you to be able to understand and to stand against it, because the moon is in spiritual typology. The moon is in mystical understanding. The moon is in spiritual symbolism, the feminine, the sacred feminine. And the fact that it was the moon that rose up and took her rightful place as co-regent with the sun and shone down that full male-female energy on us, that is the indication that Lilith, Sophia, has risen, and that this is the time, this 7-year period, to look within ourselves, both male and female, to find the true essence of the sacred feminine, to find the true essence of the sacred male, and to find the true balance of the original, of the female Christ, which was Lilith, Sophia, and the second Christ, the male Christ, which was the Word manifest in the flesh. So Lilith, Sophia, the Christ, the Word, completion, the male and female, the completed Christ. That's what we're seeing. That's what we saw. That's what we're moving into. And that's what we are to aspire to here in this 7 years of jubilation. But there's people out there that don't want this realization to become true. They don't want this realization to become widely known. They want you to believe it was something other than the moon, because if it wasn't the moon, then it wasn't Sophia rising. It wasn't the goddess arising. It wasn't the end of the correction of Sophia. It wasn't the rebirth of the spirit of Lilith. It wasn't the goddess arising then. It was just something else, so we can go on as planned, and we can go on without a societal recognition of the place of the goddess, and without a consideration within each of our hearts and minds and souls and spirits and whatever you want to call that part of you that should be doing this thinking about balance and moving into a real totality of male and female. And it's funny, I think of people that stumble in on this not knowing where they are or what they've walked into, and they're like, what did he just say? But yet they can't leave because it sparks something in here. You're like, I hate this guy, but I can't stop listening to him. I don't like this idiot, but for some reason, I got to hear a little more. And then sooner or later, they're hitting the subscribe button. And sooner or later, they're hitting the bell. And sooner or later, it's 4:30 in the morning. And they're watching and they're listening. And they're like, I hate this guy, but something about it. Because it gets into your blink and it sticks there. And that's what the Christian Whistleblower is all about. That's what the gospel truth is all about. The real gospel truth. So remember who the goddess is. Remember what the goddess is. Remember what the goddess attitude is. It's not an attitude of we're gonna kick men out. It's not an attitude of men suck. It's not an attitude of to hell with men, we don't need them. No, it's an attitude of, hey, we both were created at the same exact time. We both are created of the same exact stuff. Now, yes, there's differences between the male and the female, physical differences, strength differences, thinking different. We're not the same, and we don't want to be the same. Trust me, I got no desire to do what you ladies do. I got no desire to be what you ladies are. I'm fine being the dude. No problem whatsoever. I respect you. I honor you. I worship the goddess in the true sense of worship, but I don't want to be one. I want to get in touch with the inner goddess. I want to get in touch with my personal goddess. I want to get in touch with my feminine divinity, the divine sacred feminine within me. I want to be metro spiritual, but I have no desire to usurp the place that is rightfully that of the goddess. I have no desire to usurp the place that is rightfully that of the sacred feminine. And it is with great pride, in a good way, that I report to you my latest numbers. Just a few under 7,000 subscribers, and we'll be over 7,000, I think, probably by the end of Labor Day weekend, which is awesome. And I think we're going to be at 20 plus by the end of the year. I really do. But of my listeners, and we get about 2 million minutes of listening every month. That's a lot. But then again, it's not. We got a long way to go, but I'm really, really happy and proud and excited of where we are. But of those 2 million minutes of viewing a month, this is so unusual. I don't know if I can impress upon you the unusual nature, and I would say the enormity of this. The breakdown of my percentages of male and female listeners, watchers, whatever. 52% men, 48% women. That's phenomenal. One of these days is going to be 50-50, and I'm going to be really happy. But 52-48, I bet there's not many places out there that even approach that. It's awesome. And I love it. And it means that I'm striking the right tones. It means that I'm doing, I pat myself on the back for that. Good job, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I like that because it does mean that we're reaching the right people, and we're reaching people almost equally. So, I mean, think about it, just to close with the goddess. Now Mary is the expression of the goddess. And what is Mary's real superpower? I'll let you think about that for a minute. What is Mary, who is the expression of the female sacred feminine today in Roman Catholicism, Roman Christian, Roman Protestantism, in the Roman world, the religious world that we live in now? What is Mary's superpower? Mary's superpower is going to her son and convincing him to be nice to us. That's her superpower. So Mary herself doesn't even really have any power. Oh, Queen of Heaven. Oh, Blessed Mother. Oh, Mary, pray for us now and at the time of our death. Oh, Mary, Mother of God, pray for us now, our sinners, in our time of need. Mary, please go to your son and make him not be mean to us. That's her superpower. Can you imagine someone going to Lilith and saying, Lilith, will you go talk to the male God so he won't be mad at us? Lilith will be, get that con out of my face. We need to get a female version of this. Get that con out of my face. We need a lady version of that. Because that's exactly what Lilith would say. That's exactly what the goddess would say. And as we turn our attention to the Christ, I mean, you saw the picture on the thing, right? That we see if I can show you that again. I mean, you tell me if this guy's been emasculated or not. That's the Christ right there. You tell me if he's been emasculated or not. Look at that dude. Or is that, you know what that dude looks like? He looks like that one lady with the beard that won the singing contest in Europe over there. That's what he reminds me of. And that's your concept of the Christ. And look at this good little girl here. Cute, smile, nod. She's not threatening to anybody. She's got her head covered like a good girl. And, you know, she's doing all the right things. And she's just nice. And she's not going to cause any trouble. She's not going to talk in church. No, look at her. She's very sweet and nice. She's not going to try to take authority over a man. No, she's going to be very nice. She's not going to, she'll be in the kitchen making sandwiches. You can see that. She probably got a little mayo right here from making all them sandwiches. Nice girl. We like her. If she's not going to be trying to get equality. She's just going to go along, and look at that. We even gave her some little diamonds on her heart because she's so sweet. And then look at this guy. Now, I mean, if you're a dude that wants to look like that, that's fine. That's up to you. And I'm not hating on a brother that wants to look androgynous or wants to look feminine. If that's what you want to do, well, you know, that's your thing. Good for you. But to say that this is the personification of the Christ and of the male God, yeah, you know what? That this is the personification of the male God? That this is the personification of the male God? Yeah, I got a problem with that. And I wonder why he's always got a plate on his head. That's got to get uncomfortable. This is not the male Christ. This is not the Christ. This is not the female Christ. And this is not the male Christ. The goddess has been defeminized, and the Christ has been emasculated. That's not who the dude was. That's not who the male God is. That's just not right. And there's a reason why they portray him that way. There's a reason why they make him look so dainty. I mean, he looks like a dandy. And I mean, if you want to be a dandy, that's okay, but you're not God. He looks like a dandy to me. He looks like he asked the goddess to cut the crust off of his sandwiches. Mother, might you cut the crust from my sandwiches, please? And might I have a spot of tea with those sandwiches? I mean, look at those hands. That's not the personification of the Christ. That's not it, man. That's just not it. I'm sorry. That's not the personification of the Christ. That's not the male part of the Godhead that created the heavens and the earth. That is not the male part of the divinity that created us. That's not the male part of the divinity that we aspire to. That's just not him. And you know who the Christ was. He's the one that took on the religious establishment. He's the one that came in and said, listen, y'all, I know for 6,000, 4,000, many thousands of years as that it was, that you've been killing animals and shedding blood to get forgiveness of what y'all call sin, and that you think you got original sin within. I know your whole system, your whole society, your whole economy, your whole national identity is built on bloodshed and it's built on sacrifice. But guess what, fellas? You guys got it all wrong, and I'm here to set you straight. I'm here to give you a way that's the best of all the ways, that's the best of all the truths, that leads to life and life more abundantly, and allows you to get your job done in one human lifespan instead of having to go round and round this wheel. He was singing John Lennon's song, "Get off that merry-go-round." He said, but there's a few things you got to do. Number one, you got to stop thinking you got original sin, because that's a lie. You don't have sin within. The kingdom of God's in you. You've got the spark of divinity within, not original sin. Wow. And because of that, you don't need salvation. So you don't have to raise your very best animal and take it down to those greedy priests and have them slit the poor thing's throat, bleed it out, forgive the sin that you don't have, and then have a big barbecue with your best while you go home and eat scraps. Joel Osteen's not the first person to close his church to people that needed it. They've been closing churches for thousands of years. Joel Osteen's just the latest manifestation of the charlatans and the false demonic antichrist messengers to take advantage of folks in need. He's just the latest one. And so the Christ said, you don't have to take your animals anymore. You don't have to go through this ceremony once a year hoping your sins are going to be forgiven for blood. We've done away with the blood thing, folks. No original sin within, spark of divinity within, no more blood. And if you still feel like you need to have some ceremony that allows you to wrap your head around this big change, I'll give you water baptism. That'll show you, that'll be your symbolism for forgiveness of sin. No more of this sacrifice stuff. And then if that wasn't clear enough, he walked into the temple and physically stopped it. Now, let me ask you something. let me just ask you something. Can you see this dude right here? Whoops. Can you see this dude right here marching into the temple, braiding a big whip of cords? Why is this not showing what I'm, there it is. Can you see this dude walking into the temple, braiding a big whip of cords and just beating fools silly? Can you see this guy walking in and turning over tables? Can you see this guy kicking ass and taking names? I mean, really, come on. This guy, I don't think so. He would probably faint. Oh, he'd get the vapors and fall out. This guy ain't turning over no tables in the temple. This guy ain't kicking ass and taking names with no whip. Not this guy. Not here. Not at this house. Jack Nicholson, is this as good as it gets? Is this really as good as it gets? Is this as good as your male God gets? Please. No. It ain't. It ain't. That's not the real male God. Because the real Christ said, no more blood. The real Christ said, fellas, I told you no more blood. I mean it. And he showed it. And the real Christ is the one that was strong enough to train both men and women, that was strong enough to have a Mary Magdalene, that was strong enough to have someone with the spirit of Lilith among his staff. He's the one that told the Apostle John to ordain and to recognize women that were heads of churches and part of the ministry of the Christ. Our idea of the sacred masculine has been perverted, as well as our idea of the sacred feminine. We think that to be masculine means you got to be pounding your chest and you got to be keeping your woman in line and you got to be, you know, Mr. He-Man. That's just silly. The real man is strong enough not to have to try to assert his authority. Like we saw that Adam was listening to the gecko. You're better than her. You're stronger than her. You're faster than her. You're smarter than her. Make her be on the bottom. You stay on the top. You're the man. You're the man. That's the little gecko. You're the man, the serpent. We don't listen to that serpent. We say, get out of here, gecko. We call the gecko language what it is.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions. Bullshit level DEFCON 5.
We understand that. And we tell that gecko,
You got coming out of my face. You got coming out of my face.
you said it. We don't play that game. True men are strong enough to allow the goddess to arise, both within and alongside. Now, true men don't want to have no woman overrunning them any more than true women want to have no man overrunning them. It's egalitarian. It's equality. It's balance. I don't want you pushing me around, and I don't want to push you around. Now, there may be some give and take, some back and forth. But at the end of the day, balance in the masculine, balance in the feminine, coming together, completed Christ, female, male, boom. It's not all about get them in, and it's not all about keep the bitches down. It's about recognizing and understanding our equality and recognizing and understanding there's stuff that women are typically good at that men are not typically good at. And there's things that men are good at that women are not typically good at. And I'm not just talking about physical stuff. There are spiritual disciplines and spiritual activities that the male essence is better equipped for and more able to do in a most efficient fashion. And there's spiritual exercise that the feminine nature is more equipped for and better able under ideal circumstances to facilitate. But for 2,000 years, we've had women having to do men's job and men having to do women's job. And what we really need is each of us just doing our own damn job. Love yourself, love your neighbor, be excellent to each other, and it all works out. Now, I know you guys don't like to hear Aleister Crowley's little saying. I know you don't like it because it's been so bastardized. And yeah, he did a lot of stupid stuff. He did a lot of weird stuff. But the do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. What that's saying is, you do what you do. Men, do the masculine thing. Men, do the spiritually masculine thing. Men, do the spiritually masculine thing with your femininity, spiritual femininity in balance. Do what thou wilt. Women, do the feminine spiritual thing with your balance of your inner masculinity. Do what thou wilt. Do your own thing. Men do your thing. Women do your thing. And that's the whole of the law. It all gets done. When men aren't trying to do women's stuff and women aren't trying to do men's stuff, when the masculine's not trying to do the feminine and the feminine's not trying to do the masculine, and the masculine's doing the masculine with the feminine balance, and the feminine's doing the feminine with the masculine balance, when we're all doing what we wilt, then the whole of the law gets done. It's just like the Christ said, listen, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. That means you do what you do. Let them do what they do. You don't got to do their do. They don't got to do your do. You do your do. They'll do their do. We'll all do our do and it'll all get done. It's not that complicated. It's really not. Follow the ways that he laid down. Follow the truths that he laid down. It leads to life. And it leads to life more abundant. And you get this thing done in a single lifetime and not over and over and over again with the reincarnation. Can we just be done with the reincarnation? Can it be over? Can't we just move up? Can't we just take off? Can't we just move into the fullness? Can't you ladies do the feminine thing with your masculine balance? And can't you dudes do the dude thing with your feminine balanced? And can't we all just do what we're supposed to do? Can't we just be excellent to ourselves? Can't we just be excellent to each other? It isn't that hard. Be reasonable. Do it my way. That's really what the divine are saying. What is wrong with these chuckleheads? We make it easy, we make it clear, we make it plain. But the problem is you got people like L.A. Cucaracha. You got people, of the Roman Catholic, Jesuit, Roman Protestant lineage that think they know everything. They're so afraid to lose their place and their hold that they're fighting. Their fight and flight is in full manifestation. That's why L.A.Z.Y. Marzulli won't debate me, because he's in full fight or flight mode. And he hasn't got the stones to fight, so he's running. It is what it is. And it doesn't even really matter. It'd be nice to be able to have his audience say, that's a good point. And if he ever decides that he wants to quit hiding behind his mother's skirts and debate me, then I'm here ready and waiting. But if he doesn't, that's okay too, because we'll get the message out another way. And there will be another day. And I've read the last page of this book, and guess what? We win. We will be victorious. And we'll be victorious together. And it's not a us versus them. because there really is no them. It's all us, and no one's free until we're all free. And that's what a victory is, when we're all free, when we're all enlightened, when we've all had a chance to hear all of the information and make a fully informed decision. That's the whole idea of the Christian whistleblower. That's the whole idea of the gospel truth. Not to convince people, not to have people convinced against their will, but of the same opinion still. The whole goal of the Christian whistleblower is for everybody, and I mean every damn body, to hear all the information, to be given the opportunity to assimilate all the information, and then make their own decision based on full disclosure. The Christian whistleblower is all about full disclosure. Full disclosure of what? The real gospel truth. It's just that easy. That's what I'm here for. Jeff, you trying to convert people? Nope. Jeff, you trying to convince people? Nope. What are you trying to do? I'm trying to get all the information to all the people so they can, each and every one of them, make a fully informed decision. It's that easy. If you're a guest here today, I encourage you to like this video. I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell, because sometimes every now and then it will actually let you know when we have another video produced. And if you are a part of the family, I thank you for being here. And I ask you to meditatively consider financially sponsoring this work so we can get this information in the hands of more people so they can make fully informed decisions, because that's what it's all about. That's what I do. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it. So let's take a quick look. Looks like there's people having some issues with sleep. That's okay. I do it on purpose. Our friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower, that's me. Get that noble woman out of my face, says Tiffany. Absolutely. Get that Proverbs 31 stuff out of my face. Get it out. My ex-husband wrote this.
Get that tongue out of my face.
Absolutely. It saves my voice a little bit. Okay, okay. It's out of your face. A sandwich is a sandwich, but a mammoth is a meal. Open the can your damn self. Robert Brown, thank you, my brother. I'm dry heaving, Tiffany says. Oh, Lord. I have minions for most of that stuff. Oh, nice. Slave woman sounds like Tamu and Gina. What the hell are you doing awake? Good morning, y'all. Proverbs 31 is sung every Friday night at Shabbat, an Orthodox traditional Jewish home at Shabbat dinners, not just Christianity. Oh, no. Repression of women is a game the whole Abrahamic family can play. Oppression and suppression of women is a game the whole Abrahamic family can play. Not only just the Jewish folks, not only just the Christian folks, but even the Islamic folks can get in on it. We can all help keep a sister down. It's where the Abrahamic faith is about keeping as all women everywhere in that kitchen making them sandwiches. Oh, yeah. Good point, Tamu. There is a glass ceiling. Is she on drugs? Mazdan in the house. I bet you, trying to remember Mazdan's wife's name. It means Dawn, but I can't remember what it is. I'll bet Mazdan doesn't pull that stuff. When I created my channel, I had no idea. Rain Man, yeah. Take their coffee and dessert away, you get the men's attention. Oh, that's funny. Nice Star Trek cup, thank you. I need a drink after this. Christian books aimed at being the perfect wife. I hide them in the muscle car section. How the moon is a different place. Us Christian women are supposed to submit to our husbands as we do to our Lord. I hope you're joking. That's why I'm never getting married. There you go. Before I got sick, I ran into a jackhammer, tore up my own sidewalk. There you go. I'm working on submitting to my higher self, and I'm kind of butthurt. Well, you'll get over it. Until this year, I'd never lived with a man. Single mom since 16, raised my daughter on my own. Well, good for you. Good for you. Last time a man lived with me was from 82 to 89. I kicked him out. I just broke up too. Yeah, I can't handle it. You know what? I found the one. I finally found the one, and I'm him. So we're very happy together. Men aren't that bad. Yeah, men have their uses, right? Why does the Christ look really feminine? Because they're trying to emasculate the Christ. It's just that simple. Mawson's married for 2 years. Mawson got him a good woman. She's got her a good man. A narcissistic Muslim and a drunk psycho. He does look like a dandy. My first serious relationship was with a girl, and we got this house. Thankfully, she wasn't on the title. She was a cheater. Then I fell in love with him, and he was an a-hole. Now I'm like, good. Well, at least you turned over every rock, Tiffany. Good for you. I think the paintings of Jesus were some kind of gay prince. Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with gay princes, but yeah, he does look like a gay prince. He looks like a dandy. Thank you, Juanita. I'm in a relationship with myself. There you go. Jeffrey at 9 a.m. Eastern time this morning for Not Your Normal. Oh, that's right. Thank you, Tomu, for reminding me. For Not Your Normal Sunday morning show with R. Wayne Steiger. I don't know if it's on my channel or his channel, but either one you can find us. It's Not Your Normal Sunday morning show, and it comes up in about 4 hours. Good, Mazen. Look for you there. How many hours is that, Tamu? I see him swinging a pocketbook. Yeah, he's definitely got a man purse on him. He definitely has a man purse. And if you look closely, I think there's some guy liner going on. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's 4:47 on the East Coast. It's 5:03 now. Tamu Ingina, Tom Cruise. Actually, Rain Man, you got to remember that whole scene was, do you want the truth? Yes, I want the truth. We're entitled to the truth. And we are entitled to the truth. And Jack Nicholson really is the religious establishment. You can't handle the truth. That's the religious establishment. That's why they don't give us the truth. You can't handle the truth. Tom Cruise is really the good guy in that thing. We're entitled. I think we're entitled. I think I'm entitled. You can't handle the truth. The gecko was trying to keep Adam from being satisfied. Did I type that out loud? What did Deb type out loud? The gecko was trying to keep Adam from getting satisfied. That's funny. I never had a true man, says Juanita Young. Well, hopefully your time is coming. Guys like us are hard to find, says Atlantis. That's funny. The plug is so we won't miss Jeffrey as the show goes on his channel last week. Oh, no, I can. It's there's a delay. I see myself doing Jack Nicholson. That's pretty good. I'm usually, yeah, okay. Masculinity and femininity is a beautiful thing in balance. In today's society, it's out of whack, says Tamu and Gina. She's absolutely right. Sleep is overrated. Sleep is for babies. Having eschatological thoughts. I even put a framed picture of the Holy Mother back on my nightstand. I wouldn't do it, Sarah. I am convinced that entities attached to those things, but I don't want to freak you out. So you tell me if you have any, you tell me if your sleep is improved or if it devolves having a picture of the Holy Mother on your nightstand. I have to do man stuff because the ones I know are wussies. Well, at least you said that nicely. That's right, Gary. Do your do. You do your do, I'll do my do. It's just that way. I'm done with the reincarnation. I don't want to come back here. Me either, Tamu. I'm done. I am done. It's over for me. You work less. Yes, work less, do what your woman told you the first time. You know, Deb, my granddaddy used to say, if you don't do it right the first time, if you don't take the time to do it right the first time, you'll always take the time to do it right the second time. And I'd learned that in making these rods, because you want to do it right the first time. Trust me. Life is a merry-go-round. I wonder if that's a cute little turn of phrase or if that's a typo from Tamu. I'm reincarnating. I'm coming back. Why, Juanita? L.A. Marzulli is quaking in his shoes. Yeah, I did rattle his cage. A man who can value a woman's opinion and vice versa can work together in harmony is a beautiful thing. I agree. I agree. I think I'm entitled. That is a pretty good Tom Cruise. All right. Goodbye, Tamu. A cruciflex. It's like an exercise machine for Catholics and Protestants. Billy Mays, he could sell the cruciflex. That's awesome. All right, what do you think happens after death? You go somewhere else. All right, folks. It's been almost an hour, and we solved all the world's problems in an hour. How about that? Perfect. If only everybody would listen, we could get this done. And you know what? More and more people are listening, and we're getting more and more done. And the more you help, the more I get done. And I appreciate what you do. And I appreciate you helping me do what I do. And together we're doing more do, which is awesome. You're welcome, Mazden. Thank you, sir. And as it swings past 5 o'clock in the morning, I do salute all of you that are up late, all of you that are checking this out, all of you that are listening, all of you that are participating, and all of you that are not willing to take the status quo, and all of you that think, I think we're entitled. When they say, you can't handle the truth. I think we're entitled. Because we are, and we need to keep the spirit of Tom Cruise alive and well. I can't remember that his character's name in that. Let's get the name of the Tom Cruise character. Tom Cruise character, and what was that called? A Few Good Men? Is that what that was called? Is that what that movie was called? Lieutenant Daniel Caffey. Lieutenant Daniel Coffey. Caffey or Coffee, I can't remember. Isn't that interesting? And Jack Nicholson was Colonel Nathan Jessup. So we need to keep the spirit of Lieutenant Daniel Caffey alive and well. So there you go. Why worry about what you're going to do with the ring? Just give it to your mom. Let her deal with it. See, there's a man answer. And Tiffany's going to come down somewhere in the middle with that. All righty, folks. I appreciate you very much. We'll be back later on today, 9 o'clock, R. Wayne Steiger's channel. I think it's going to be on Wayne's channel this time. Not your normal Sunday morning show with yours truly, your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower and R. Wayne Steiger. And then we got more good stuff to roll out to you during the day. The first rods have shipped. And all of the rods will be shipped by Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest. So if you want your rods, get your orders in now. We're ready to rock and roll. I got it down. The first time I made them, it took me an hour to make one. Now I can make them in less than 15 minutes, and they're really good. So I think you're going to enjoy them. If you want to do personal work with me, contact me via the instructions in the box below, and we will get you dialed in. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. This has been the gospel truth about the emasculation of the Christ and the defeminization of the goddess. Again, I salute you. Remember, you're not filled with original sin. You got the spark of divinity within. So love yourself. Be excellent to yourself. Recognize your neighbor also has divinity within him and her. So be excellent to them as well. And then, as you do your due and be excellent to you, they do their due, be excellent to them, then we're all excellent to each other. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. This has been The Gospel Truth, and we will see you next time.